So hey everyone, welcome back, and I hope you guys are doing well. So today we are going to discuss both the contest, the LeetCode Weekly Contest. I think it's 501, and the Biweekly Contest 182. So the contests are like contest questions are pretty good. And the one thing which I noticed about second problem in both the contests are they are more difficult than the third and the fourth problem. And it's interesting that they are increasing the difficulty, but the order is not consistent, right? So they should need to improve the order as well. And apart from that, the context is really good. I also spent a lot of time to solve and understand the problem statements and able to solve the problem. So let's just get into it and just understand what the problem is. So the first problem is always easy. You don't have to do a lot of stuffs. So you have to just concatenate array with the reverse. So it's a straightforward problem. I don't think anyone take a lot of time to actually solve this particular problem. That we are given integer array nums of length n. Construct a new array answers of 2 into n, such that the first n elements that are the same as num and the next n elements are the elements of nums in reverse order. So it's like first you have to take the first n element, and after that for the rest of the element you just have to reverse the array. So this is the straightforward, nothing complicated. You can easily solve it. Even if you are a beginner, it is really easy for you to as well to solve this particular problem. And if you see what I did, I just created an array of size of 2n, and just stored the first n elements inside my result, and after that stored the rest of the element in the reverse order. So this is the code of this particular problem look like. So it's pretty easy. It's easy problem. Let's move to the second and the interesting problem. It is actually a good problem, like and the important thing which I like most of the time I mention in my videos, that whenever you are solving such problems, make sure that you have read the problem statement correctly, because in this particular problem, if you haven't understand the problem from a core, then there might be a case that there is possibility that you are able to you solve a problem in a wrong way and you actually waste a lot of time. So make sure to understand the problem very carefully, right? So you are given a string, you are given an array of string chunks. The strings are concatenated in order to form a string S. You are also given an array of string queries. Got it? A word is defined as a substring of S that consists of lowercase English letters, may include hyphens only if hyphens surrounded by lowercase English letters, and it is not a part of longer substring that also satisfy the condition. Any character that is not a lowercase English letter or a valid hyphen act as a separator. Make sure to write these statements very carefully and understand them what they are trying to say us, right? And after that we have we just have to return an array such that answerizes number of occurrences of query I as a word in S, right? So what is substring? We all know what is exactly the substring is. So they have given a this as a chunks. We just have to concatenate them, right? So let me just copy it from here. Let's move to Accelerator for better visual representation. So this is our string look like, and what we have to do, we just have to concatenate them. Then what the final string is look like, which is hello world hello, right? So this is our S is look like, and what we have to do, we just here it is. We have a query, and we just have to check for the every query of ith how many times it appeared in chunks after concatenating. So if you see about hello, then hello is occurring 2 times, right? And if you see just copy it from here and just paste it for better understanding, right? So if you see hello is appearing 2 times, so what I have to do is to 2. World is appearing 1 time, then it is 1, and war is not appearing any number of times, so it is 0. So this is the answer of this particular problem. So if you see, this part is pretty easy, like not too complicated, but the interesting part comes when there is a case of hyphens, right? So just check this out. So we have this particular string, right? And what we have to do first, we have to combine them, concatenate them, then the string become b. So this is our new string is look like. And if you see, we have a concept of separator over here, right? And what are the possible candidates of separator? Either they are spaces or any other character, any other character, right? Or they can be hyphen, but in which case when like if you read this problem, then they have clearly mentioned that when the hyphen is valued, like when the case may include hyphens only if hyphen is surrounded by lowercase English letter, right? So in this particular case they are not a separator, right? They are not a separator. But let's say we got a string like this, then this act as a separator, right? So this is what we have to achieve over here. So if you see about this particular test case, then what would be the output of this particular cases look like? So A is appearing 2 times, it's 2 not 1. One is B is appearing 1 time and C is appearing 1 time. So this is what the problem statements look like and how to actually approach this particular problem. So it's pretty easy. For the first part, it's quite easy that you just have to concatenate and just simply count the number of occurrence of that particular word inside our map or whatever the data structure which we are using. And but the second part is here is an interesting thing, that whenever we got a hyphen, so make sure that there is 2 scenario where hyphen is act as a separator or where hyphen is not act as a separator, and we can conclude it inside our valid string, right? So this is the case. Let's see the code for better understanding and for better visual representation, right? Because it's a little complicated, like it's a little difficult problem as compared to the normal second problem of the LeetCode contest. So what I have done, I have created a string builder where I'm just creating a whole string, iterating over chunks and combining all of them into a string. And after this I got a string, and after that I have created an hash map because I need some sort of way to actually count the number of occurrences of that particular word. And I have just created a word which is actually helping me to form a valid word in cases of hyphens and separator, how I have to actually avoid them, right? After that I'm just checking if it's a character, then no need to do anything, just simply attach it into our word. But if it's a hyphen, then make sure that first check does this separator or not, like, right? Because that's what we are doing. If it's a hyphen, then we are checking if it is coming in the middle, right? Not in the not in the first index or like not in the previous index, right? What I mean that it should be coming like this. It should become like this, right? It should not become like, right? So this is what I am checking over here, right? And if it is the case, then we simply insert it because it is a valid case. Otherwise it's a separator. That means we can't use it inside our word, so we simply store whatever the word we get till now and store it inside the map, and just putting the string length as 0, because now we are forming a new string, right? So this is what we are doing over here. After that, this is the same thing which we are doing. After that, we at the end of the loop we got like we get a one word rest, so we simply inserting that inside our answer. And after that I'm just iterating over map and just checking what the value it actually stored, right? And if you want, I will also show you what the value which actually we are storing inside the map for better understanding, right? Because here maybe you get confused. Value inside the map, because for the first time if you are not able to solve it, then don't worry, because it is actually not an easy and a medium problem. It's actually a good level of problem, right? So don't get demotivated, and if you're not able to solve it, just learn the concept behind it, so that in future you will be able to solve such similar problem, right? So just learn a thing from the previous problems, right? That will help you to actually grow in your career, right? So this is what, okay, there may be some issues with system. Okay, got it. This is, if it is, yep. So let's see. What exactly the value which we are storing inside a map, because that will give us a better understanding of what is actually happening. And there may be some issue with the network. I don't know what is happening, but yeah, let's see. But you got my point, right? What I'm talking about, right? So this is yep, it working. So you see what the value inside the map in the normal case it is simply, but in case of hyphens, you see this is the value which we are storing inside our map, right? So that is actually helping us to come up with the solution of this particular problem. So it is actually not an easy problem, it's a good problem which take a lot of amount of time and also take my lot of time to actually come up with the solution. So do let me know in the comment section if you're not able to solve, and if you're able to solve, what approach you have used, so that I also see what your thought process is coming behind this particular problem. Okay, so let's move to the biweekly first problem, and this is a easy problem. This is like quite easy, like you don't need to do a lot of stuff, you just need to read a problem and just implement whatever they want you to do, right? So you are given a string array events, initially score and a counter is 0. Make sure to read your problem statement very carefully. Sometime just by saying the problem tag, we thought that okay, it's an easy problem and we'll miss a lot of detail about the problem, and ended up submitting the wrong submissions, and which reduces our rank on the contest as well, right? So these are the add that value to the total score. If w increase the counter by 1, no score is added. If any of the then I add 1 to the total score, and make sure that all elements events are processed or the counter become 10. Return okay, score is the final score. So what they are saying that we just have to, like, if we got w, we just have to return two things, the score and the counter. And when we have to increment the counter, when we only get w. And if any of the case, like if there is a number, then we simply store that particular value. If it is a character or a word, then we simply increment our word. And make sure that if the counter become 10, then simply break it out, because we don't want to process the further. So this is the code of this particular problem is look like. You can read this problem by your own self, that it is a pretty easy problem. You can also able to solve it by your own. So just do check it out and do let me know in the comment section what do you think about it. And it's an interesting problem, it's quite interesting problem, and it took a lot of time for me, like, to come up with the solution. And also it's pretty difficult for me as well. But yeah, let's try to make it easy for you, so that you are not able to face such problems and you are able to solve it, right? So you are given a binary string as a string is considered coherent if it does not contain 0, 1, 1 or subsequence. In one operation, you can flip any character in S. Got it? Return an integer containing the minimum number of modification required to make as coherent. Got it? So what they are saying that if you just have to make a string coherent, and when the string is coherent, put it over here. If when a string is called coherent, if it is not contains either of the subsequence, not substring. Make sure that to read this statement carefully. Should not contain this and this, right? So we just have to check like what number of operation we actually require to convert our string in a way that it doesn't contain any of this subsequence. So this is what we have to achieve over here. So there are various possibilities that we just have to, like, understand the possibility, so that we can able to solve this particular problem. Let me just think that, okay, what you want, right? So how these two strings are formed, right? So we are talking about subsequences. So there is no substring, so they should not be continuous, but there should be some order, right? Because we are actually talking about subsequence. So when this number will form, when we have something like 0, this is not 0 0 1, this is 0 1 1, sorry for that, right? So when this will form, when we have certain pattern like this, right? In this case, if our string contains this particular pattern, then there is a possibility that the string contains this particular subsequence, right? And what the another case, when we have a pattern look like this, then it is also the case that our string contains this subsequence, right? So we what we want our string to not contain this particular pattern, right? So in order to do that, we just simply need to take care of at what positions we want these number to be present, right? And the important thing is that, right, the thing is that, let's say if our string contain only 0, then we don't, the number of operation is 0. If it contain all 1, then number of 0, and if it contains something like this, in that case it is also 0, right? So what we can see that somehow we just want to like remove the number of ones from the middle, right? Why I'm saying this, let's say if you have a string something like this, so in order to form like this, what you need 2 1 and only 1 0, so this is able to form, right? And similar case, if you see, you can able to form. So somehow we just have to remove these middle ones, right? And after that it become really easy for us to solve this particular problem. But what if the string is look like this? What if the string is, right? So in this case, instead of removing 1, it is better to remove 0, right? Because if we remove 0, the number of operation, the first is the number of operation is 1, and the second is we only have 1 in our string, so which is does not contain this particular sequence. So this is what we have to do. So what we get from here, we have, like, we need the count of both the string, like, right? And after that we just simply have to check right, we just simply have to check what is the minimum, like what we can use so that we will get the minimum value, right? So this is what we have to do in this particular problem. If I'm not able to understand this approach, use your copy and pen, then try and note down all this test cases and edge cases that will help you to come up with a solution. Let's just check the solution of this particular problem. So I have created an array, and why I have created a -1, because as I said that uh, I don't want, like, I want only the ones at the edge locations, right? Not at, like, I only want 1 at the edge location, not at the middle. So that's why if, like, let's say our string is starting like this, so we get 1, we are simply incrementing it. So at the first step our 1 count becomes 0, which means we have excluded our first 1, right? So that's why starting from -1, simply counting it over here. And this is the case that if either of, if maybe like the string is only contain 1 and string only contain 0, in that case we simply return 0, right? And after that I'm just simply returning, if removing a 0 give me the minimum value, or removing the 1 give me the minimum value. And this is the whole code of this particular problem is look like. It took me a while to come up with this approach, but it is quite good problem. You actually got to learn a lot of stuff from this particular problem. So this is it. If I'm not able to solve, do watch video again for better understanding, and try by your own self, write test cases, write edge cases, and understand what the obstacles look like. So yeah, this is about the solution of the problems, and I hope you are able to understand. If you are able to understand, do let me know in the comment section, so that I got to know what you get and how your approaches look like about all this problem. So this is it about this video, and this is it for today, and bye bye, take care. Let's meet on another contest.